Good morning, kids. It's Renee. It's another day, and look, we're getting some rain. Well, some drizzles. I wouldn't say it's rain, but it's a nice drizzle. We need it. Have you ever had one of those days where it's a Monday and it's not a Monday? Oh my goodness, I swear. So my morning started out great. Got to work, clocked in. We get what is called location papers. It's a set of papers that give us the directions and everything we need to get from point A to point B. Came in, I grabbed my sheet. There's like 3 or 4 sheets. Set it down, clocked in, turned to talk to somebody, reached down to grab my sheet. It must have got switched up, so I grabbed the sheet that was laying there, didn't even think about it, got out to my truck, did my pre-trip, everything's good to go, looked at the directions, read the directions, put the GPS in. Now, that being said, with the GPS, you can't count on the coordinates GPS that they give you, because it's not always right. But what it does, it's an aid, kind of gives you the general location, but you go by the written directions, right? So I get out and I put the coordinates in, blah, blah, blah. I'm looking at the directions and I'm reading it and I'm going, okay, I need to go here, go here, go here. No problem. I was just about to the location and I grabbed my sheet just to make sure, what the next set of directions was, how far, right? We clear out our miles on our odometer, and that's how we, it might say, okay, you're going to make a right turn here and go 1.4 miles. And so I was looking at the next one, and I happened to look, and it wasn't even the right location. Oh my gosh, smack your forehead. I just said, no. Well, it was bad enough that I had a boo-boo like that, but I'm in an area, I have no cell signal, nothing to be able to contact anybody to get the right directions to where I need to be. Oh my goodness. So I have to drive to the nearest place that I know I have reception. And it was about 5 miles. So I pull in, called my the yard supervisor, the standing yard supervisor, and said, and told him what happened. He's like, okay, I'll send you the information. Well, there again, it takes a minute because I didn't have that great of signal. So I had to wait for that information to come in. And so now I'm headed in the right direction. But, oh my goodness, it's not even a Monday. And I had a blooper. Oh my goodness. You ever have those days? I'm sure everybody does. But it doesn't, that brings up the topic of kind of what I thought, I can really talk about this as far as stress. And what do you do? What stresses you out? What's no biggie? What do you brush off? What do you let kind of take over your system? Because stress is really one of those things that can affect you adversely. And I for one, used to get really stressed and worried, right? That's just my nature, because I don't want to mess up. I don't want to disappoint anybody. I don't want to be an inconvenience. I take everything internally. God, why didn't I just look again? Like in this situation, why didn't I just look again, take a little glance? And I would have been stressed to where in my past not even that long ago, it would have actually made me throw up. Because I happen to be one of those people that if I allow myself to be a control freak, not control freak of my outside environment, but control freak of myself, right? I'm very ritual. I do things in the same way, which forms a habit, which is good in one sense and not good in another. But that's what kind of helps keep me a little organized. It keeps my stress level down. I'm okay with change, but with that change, it does add a little bit of stress to me until I get it figured out, right? I mean, and I think that's with anybody. Something new you're going to have to do out of your routine is going to give you a little bit of stress. Now, there's some people, and I know those people because some of them are my friends. They don't, whatever, it is what it is. And I'm kind of somewhat that way now, but a year ago, no, I was not that way. I totally internalized everything and beat myself up about it and blah, 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 blah. Now, whatever triggers it, the stress that comes out, it still happens with me, but I can see that now. I realize what I cannot control. But what I can do is reorganize, resituate myself, rethink the situation. And that kind of stuff doesn't make it. It doesn't change the situation in a way that sucks when you have a bad day or a Monday or whatever you want to call it. But if you have kind of like a plan B, okay, wipe the slate clean, let's go to the next plan. So that's kind of what I'm having to do. I'm like, this is Wednesday. I've already got like 40 hours in. We put in 40 hours on our third day. We've already got over 40 hours in our work week. So, there's a lot that needs to be accomplished for me because I don't have anybody to take care of anything for me. I'm my sole caregiver, I'm my sole caretaker, I'm my sole income, blah, 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 blah. So my work hours are my work hours, and then I gotta take care of everything else after my work hours, which there's really not much time after those hours. So, your mind tends to get a little bit jumbled up and maybe a little tired. And so that adds to like this situation, ordinarily I'd glance up at the paper and realize, I grabbed the wrong one, right? But I didn't. I just looked at the coordinates and the directions and went from there. So now I'm turning around and headed in the right direction. And hopefully the day will smooth out. If it doesn't, I've made my mind up a long time ago, at least a year ago. I will always have a plan B. Always have a plan B. It might not work, then I'll have a plan C. But how do you handle situations? How do you handle stress? Do you do it internally like I do? I don't take it out on anybody. I don't get, how some people, when things happen to them, they're outwardly, you can tell something is wrong. I don't take it out on anybody. It was my mess up. So I'm not going to be crabby, grumpy, to anybody else. But for the most part of the day, I'm going to be shaking my head and going, why didn't I just take that minute, less than a second to glance up and see that all it was numbers, a set of numbers that I would have had to look at and see of the location that wasn't the right one. Because I get so focused on going from point A to point B to point C, ritual, doing this, that I didn't take a second look. I didn't go from point A to point A and a half in looking over everything again. So that's something that, I will continually work on for myself. That's a personality flaw, if you want to take it, if you want to take it like that. I just need to slow down, take a step back on days when I know I've got so much to do, not only with work, but with my own personal life. I mean, there's a lot I've got to take care of in the next couple of weeks. And that's all weighing on me right now. Not an excuse. We have days where it's kind of mellow yellow. We don't, it just kind of floats by. And then we have days where you are taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. And you've got to keep doing it in order to catch up with yourself, right? Where you're taking 2 steps forward, 2 steps forward, 2 steps forward, right? So this day is a blooper in my life. But it'll be all good, I hope my bosses aren't mad at me. I'm sorry. I hope that's the only blooper I have today. So, how do you handle stress? Do you let it eat at you? Do you hold on to it? Do you think about it all day and into the next day? Is it something that, constantly chases you? Or do you take a deep breath and think, okay, here's the situation. This is the stress. How do I deal with it? What do I do with it? How do I turn it around? Tell me, what do you do? Shoot, maybe you might have some ideas that can help me with my own. So, alrighty folks, well, I am going to, if something happens, I'll turn you back on, but I'm already at 12 minutes with this. So, if something happens, I'll turn you back on and we'll add a little bit more. Alrighty, adios. Well, we made it. Oh my goodness. So, the moral of the story is chill. Take a step back. It'll all be okay as long as you take a step back. Take a deep breath and figure it out. It'll all be good. Alrighty kids. Catch you on the next one. Adios.